Okay, let me just make sure everything has connected okay. It has, there we go. Hello everybody, how are we? Make sure he's nice and clear and visible. Wonderful. Hello Rothmer Gaming already. So, yep, as it says there, hey stream, won't be around to watch. However, some good news, I should have Discord for 90 minutes up and running by tomorrow's stream. This is true. Hopefully, so long as everything goes well, hopefully by tomorrow night we'll have a stream up. Hello, cat. Hello. Some adorable cat tootsies for everybody to start the stream. My 13-year-old cat has just decided that now she wants some attention. As you can see from... Don't lie there, please. Anywhere but there. Oh, we're knocking my light and everything. Are we throwing a bit of a temper tantrum, madam? Madam? Sit down now? Is that better? You'll have to ignore the cat tail in the corner. She's decided that that is where she wants to sit. As some of you may be able to tell, I have the chat sorted now, so I can now, it's now set to live chat, so I should be able to see everybody's comments and not just some of them. Took me a little minute to figure it out, but we got there in the end. But anyway, on to what we're actually doing today. We are finishing off the heroes of our Darkwater set. Starting with this fellow, aka Mr. Jacobus Vine. So we're going to start with him. He is the Jade Wizard, so he will be painted in a Jade Wizard colour scheme, sorry. And then we will move on to the very last one, which is the Forest Prince, which I believe is Carnothor, but I'm not entirely sure. I just forgot his name immediately as soon as I just read it. It literally was there 2 seconds ago in my head, and then it's gone. Kelthanor, sorry, my apologies. So we'll be painting Jacobus Vine and then Kelthanor to finish off all of our heroes. And then as of tomorrow, we will officially begin our bad guys. So we have that to look forward to tomorrow as well. But let's begin with Jacobus, shall we? So let's have a look at the figure first. So as you can see, he's got various coloured robes, or various layers of robes. I'm going to begin by painting the bottom robe on the bottom. Funny enough, the bottom robe is on the bottom. That's going to be in a pale, like brownish shade, and then the rest of it is just going to be a selection of various greens that I've got listed out. I've managed to find everything. Everything is organised, so I should be able to, if I need to find something, actually put my hand on it straight away today. So that makes my life a little bit easier. But let's begin with this, and we will start with Rakarth Flesh, or that pale shade I was going on about, that kind of brownish neutral tone. Hope everybody's having a lovely evening so far. I also hope people like cats, because apparently this little girl has decided she is staying for at least a little while. It's officially a week today till Christmas. Hope everybody has organised themselves. As a retail worker, I really hope that nobody on my streams or on my channel is going to be the type of person that goes shopping on Christmas Eve unless they really have to. Food shopping on Christmas Eve I get, but please no present shopping. Please don't do it to yourselves. You will find the store ransacked and you will find nothing you're after. Oh, my cat decided to move on. Okay, bye. There we go. She was gracing us with her presence for a little while, and now she's decided to toddle off. Okay, now I've got to pick which green I want to do next, because I will be doing a second coat on that neutral tone underneath, but got to let that first coat dry first, obviously. His main robe through the centre is like a very, very pale green. It's a lovely green, actually. So I think for that I'm going to go in with Nurgling green, which obviously is very, very appropriate for this set. Actually, I'm not currently painting Nurgling. Good evening, Grey Slayer Minis. How are we? Oh, I'm throwing my paints. We're going to go with some Nurgling green. Gamora, good evening, everyone. Looking forward to seeing the wizard come to life. Thanks for sharing the process. Thank you very much for being here to share the process. I appreciate it. So we're going to have some Nurgling green, which for this set is obviously very, very appropriate. We're going to use that to paint this section of his cape. His robes. But how are we, guys? Are we doing well? I even have two different green shades today. So I have obviously got the Qualia green shade, but I also have Croak green, which could be interesting over some of this. So I'm tempted to try that out on some of the lighter sections and kind of see how it looks. Don't know if any of you guys have used that one yet. I haven't used it myself, so today is a little bit of an experiment. But since this guy is a green boy, kind of made sense. If I'm going to use it on anybody, it should probably be Jacobus. As you can see from Rothmer Gaming at the top there, Rothmer Gaming is my other half. He's the other half of Nerdy Miniatures, aka Mr. Nerd. He is going to be working on a break, whilst on his break later today, he's going to be working on the Discord for Nerdy Miniatures. So hopefully by tomorrow's stream, we will have officially a Discord. So if you guys obviously want to join us on there when it goes live, then please do. That's a very pretty green. I like that green. Righty. His next robe is kind of like a bluish green, but it's not really quite the colour I want to yet go with. So instead, I'm going to go in with Elysian green. Yeah, I'll go in with Elysian green. Just double checking 100% I wanted to do that. As I said, there's no real colour guides for these yet, like unless it's other tutorials. So a lot of this is kind of based off of interpretation and personal preference when it comes to how you want stuff to look. So obviously if you want to follow these for your own models, feel free. We'd love to. At the same time, don't feel like you have to obviously paint yours the way I'm painting mine, because we have diverted from it a little bit in the sense of, even though this is the green wizard, he does not have a green whisper. In fact, I went over this one a little bit earlier on just because I was experimenting, and I've gone in with a contrast paint over the top of Whisper, and I've just added a few highlights of yellow, just because I think he was looking a little bit lackluster to me. And now he's been fixed with some contrast paint, which is Magma Droth Flame, and I've just gone over the very, very tips with Flash Gets Yellow, just to add a tiny, tiny yellow highlight to him. He looks more like a Flame Boy now. He officially looks more like a Cinders than a Whisper. So even though this guy is the Jade Wizard, he doesn't have a Jade pet. He has a Flame Boy. I just thought I'd play with it. If it didn't look right, then, you know, it'd be shame on me. But I just very quickly earlier on was like, oh, do I try this? And luckily it turned out okay, so I was happy with that. That's the only one I've made any changes to since recording it on stream. Just because, although I liked him, he was just missing something for me. The Grey Slates, has your has your little one devoured the rest of her Halloween sweets now? Remember you said the other day she was devouring a bunch of her sweeties. No, lol, no, but she might have given me a black eye tonight, so she's in my bad books. Oh goodness, what in the world happened there? I'm sure it was accidental, hopefully? I was a really clumsy kid, and, little side rant, my parents left my grandmother in charge of me for a day, and obviously my grandmother, obviously having raised kids, she's like, she'll be fine, everything will be fine. My parents came home and I had 2 black eyes, and they were 2 black eyes that I had given myself from doing the exact same thing twice, which was walking into a door handle, because I'm a very small human now, obviously a much smaller child, and about the age of 6 or 7, I was the same height as a door handle, and I walked into 2 different door handles and gave myself 2 black eyes. My parents were less than impressed with me, especially because no one wants to believe the walked into the door story. But it was in fact true. I did in fact walk into a door handle twice in the same day. But how did she nearly give you a black eye, or might have given you a black eye? She wanted a cuddle instead of the dog, who was curled up with me on the couch, and she went to shove the dog, missed, and shoved me in the face. She didn't mean it, of course. No, she didn't mean it, obviously. Bless her. Bless her, though. Obviously, she's still a little one as well, so accidents happen. It was unintentional. For the outer robes, I'm going in with Warg Flesh. I think this is actually the very first paint I ever used, you know, from Citadel. I started this a year ago, and I think I was painting... I know I painted my very first figure. She's only 6, but she inherited her mother's Aussie rage. I like that. Like 6 going on 16. Yeah, this is the very first paint I ever used. The very first figure I ever painted was Helm Hammerhand. And one of the main colours at the time was this one for his capes and robes. Yeah, I was affectionately referred to as a Stormcloud as a child. And I was not a very smiley child, I was a very scowly child who just glare at everybody. So I was constantly just judging people, apparently. And yeah, my sister got nicknamed Sunshine and I got nicknamed Raincloud or Stormcloud. Kind of flipped between those two because I was always there with a scowl on my face. Obviously nowadays we know that's just resting bee face. I'm not going to say the word. But I had it really strong as a child, apparently. Incredibly so. How have your days been, though? Have you been up to much today? It's going to be a little bit more of wild flesh. Just work, testing out quick and dirty schemes for pestigores now. Ooh. Very nice. Slowly getting there. I say slowly, he's quite quickly getting there, actually. This guy's going to be fun because I've got some quite bright highlights to use. I'm going to use some Moot Green and some Warpstone Glow for highlights on this one. Tomorrow's my last day for 2 weeks, but I'll be away for half of that visiting the family in Skye. So a nice 7-hour drive for us at the weekend. Long drive, but will definitely be worth it, I'm sure. That's coming together quite quickly, actually. That's quite good because I think our centaur's going to take a fair bit of time. Imagine your little one, obviously 6, must be in school then. Is she very excited for Christmas? One of the best drives in the whole of the UK, in my opinion, especially between Glasgow and Fort William. I don't doubt it at all. I don't doubt it at all. I spent a little bit of my early years living in Helensburgh. But, you know, it's that kind of part of the world that is just naturally quite... Other parts of the world are obviously much, much nicer. But, yeah, it's quite a beautiful place. I spent my first few years as a baby there, apparently. Was one of your parents military, by chance? Just switching to a smaller brush just so I can get into some of the smaller gaps. She has last day for her tomorrow for a wee bit. While she's not the best at travelling in the car yet, she gets sick, bless her. She loves being up with the family, and now she's a bit older, she's super hyped for Xmas. So sweet. I completely sympathise. Yeah, Dad was Navy, but my parents split when I was little, so wasn't there for long. Yeah, my dad was Navy, so that's the reason why I was in Helensburgh. It's the same reason. They did a very, very long service in the Navy though. Very long service. But I'm really happy she's excited for Christmas. Like, there's nothing better than just watching kids. Like, that's the thing I'm looking forward to most about being a parent, is the holidays and stuff that I got excited about as a kid, looking at them again through his eyes. It's going to be so good. I'm so excited for it. Getting to live vicariously through my child and just watch him get excited about the things that I used to get excited about. 100%, it's completely different when you get to experience things with them for the first time. Absolutely. Especially because my little one is due, obviously, basically any day now. He's due 2nd of January, officially. That's his official due date. but there is a chance he could come early. There is a chance he might have to come early. Like, it just depends on what goes on obviously with him. But it just means next year he's going to be either just about to turn a year old or a year old, and he's going to get to experience Christmas, like look at a Christmas tree properly and start taking it in next year. So that's going to be really, really fun. I'm looking forward to that a lot. It's like something so mediocre, something so simple. I never went to like Disneyland or anything like that as a kid. It was not one of my holidays that I went on as a kid. But it would be great because my husband and I have always like intended to go. But it's one of those things where it was going to be like a family trip for our full extended family. So now, when we do eventually go, for the first time, I'll get to experience it through my child's eyes. So that'll be really, really magical. For the first time ever going anywhere like that, to experience it through his eyes. It's going to be amazing, I'm sure. Have you been practicing your stream dodging nappy changes technique? Not quite yet. I will have like a little I do have a screen ready for like be right back, and luckily for the first month basically of little one's life, Mr. Nerd will be home as well. So because I plan to only be off streaming potentially for a couple of weeks, so even if my videos go a little bit skew, if I hope to be back to streaming relatively quickly, just simply because I want a little bit of normality in a very new life, basically. More than anything, just to give myself that little break of like, yep, I'm also mum, but I'm also still me, and I also still like this, so I can still do that. But yeah, we'll have support and very, very close by for at least the first month, so it'll make it a lot easier for that transition. And as we kind of get into the groove of things, we will have the practice in and hopefully become masters of it before long. The biggest one is because obviously I stream on here, and Rothmer Gaming, aka... No, I mean when you're changing nappies and the cold air hits the boy, dodging the... yeah. No, again, it's going to be something that's going to come with practice, I'm sure. Unfortunately, there's probably going to be a few times where I'm not going to be able to dodge it, unfortunately. But we will figure it out. So it's a bit weird, like most of my friends and like relatives and stuff, they mostly have girls. So when I announced I was having a boy, they were like, oh, it's something different. Not that there's really, it's not really that different, but in comparison to them, I only have like one other friend who has a little boy, and I was like, how is it? Because she has a boy and a girl. Perks of having boys, indeed. And I was like, how is it, the difference between them? And just obviously it's night and day because they're two very different people. But I said to her, well, if I need tips or techniques, I know who I'm going to for some advice. Because if he's anything like his dad as a person, as he gets older, he's just going to be full of energy, and no doubt him and his dad are going to be running around the house doing God knows what. I'm sure they'll get up to plenty of mischief. Do the second coat of Elysian green now. Pool noodles at all corners. Yeah, basically. In pool noodles, and we've also got, like, because we have cats, we already have child locks on our windows. because we have a cat that has figured out how to open windows. And when I say open windows, I mean he takes the key out of the child locks and undoes them. He's very smart. So we've already started prepping for the sake of the cats, and now we've just got a little, we've got to safety, like baby-proof the house, basically. And to be honest, I think that'll be mostly to protect Mr. Nerd rather than the little one. Because the little one will just probably wander into things, and it'll be Mr. Nerd or myself jumping into things to stop him from running into them. So it'll be more for our protection than his. He probably won't even be aware. But yes, not long now until he is here. Not long at all. I think it's something like 15 days today until my due date. Something like that. So not long at all. But, of course, due dates are just a day. They are not always accurate. So, we'll find out in the next either 2 weeks or just over 2 weeks if he's going to come on time or if he's going to choose to stay in there and just be a little bit more comfortable for a little bit longer. What is your little one's favourite part about Christmas then? Aside from obviously like presents and stuff, like what's her favourite tradition? Like I know, obviously like leaving food out and stuff for Santa. What we used to make, my mum did with us, was she used to make reindeer food, which is like oats and glitter and stuff like that. And we'd throw it out for the reindeer to eat. And obviously when we'd wake up the next morning, it would be gone. Also, if it hasn't started already, be prepared for impending mum brain, where you can't find your keys and they're in the fridge. I already have that. I already don't have the best memory anyway. I have really bad problems when it comes to my memory, so it makes it even worse. Or where you're using your phone as a torch to help you find your phone. Yeah, that is more or less already where I'm at. So I think I'm already ahead of the game there. I have to start putting signs up around the house, I think. So it's like if I'm looking for something, it would be like signs like saying, have you checked the fridge? Have you checked the drawer? Have you checked the oven? Who knows? You know, random places you might leave stuff. Having a look at the little owl on his shoulder. Really, go Disney World, way better than land. To be honest, we'll probably do both, to be honest. And how are you, really? How are you? Are we having a good day so far? Only the reason why I'm thinking land first is if we take the little one whilst he's very little, because he's only going to have little legs, he doesn't have as much to walk around. Tradition-wise, we have written Santa a note. We also have a burning outside with the Yule log that we get special stuff for that turns the flames different colours. We also traditionally pig out. That sounds amazing. Absolutely amazing, actually. But yeah, we've officially, I bought it as a decoration this year, but it's like a little, essentially a Santa's envelope holder that holds like it says a letter to Santa in it. And I've said to Mr. Nerd, what we'll do is we'll write a little letter as he gets older each year in there and pop it in there. So when he comes down, you might even do it like a few days before Christmas to kind of show, right, you need to write a letter to Santa, and then kind of make it magically disappear to show our little one, oh look, Santa's been, your letter's gone. He's taken your gift list. we've got a few things that I wanna try with him. Going in with some working on his skin now. So going some Kislev flesh, and I'm going to mix that with a little bit of, if I can find it in the pile, Bugman's Glow for his skin tone. We also have the half-eaten cookie, glass of milk, and the most eaten carrot on the night of course. Those are a must. Growing up, we had stuff like rabbits and guinea pigs. So my mum would obviously just break off half of that and chuck it in with the rabbit or the guinea pig. And they'd obviously just devour it. So we could always guarantee in the morning that carrot would be gone. It's just a case of instead of going to a reindeer, it went to a rabbit. This guy's even got his feet out. My goodness. There we go. He's looking pretty put together. Now just to paint his owl on his shoulder and then his staff with a base coat. And then we can move on to shading. Okay, where's my little brushes? Since this owl is only a little guy. I'm gonna go in with a base all over of Nightquester flesh for the owl. Going to be using some dry brushing on this little owl, I think, just to give him some detail. Because he's so mini, I don't want to focus too much on heavy paints, but I'm going to use like a lighter shade and then dry brush some darker stuff, and then dry brush some light stuff over the top of that. There we are. This belt, whilst that dries, I'm going to go in with Warpstone Glow. Just add a touch of brightness to the middle Yeah, at the moment I have a lot of people's like main comment when I tell them roughly when my child is due. They're like, "Oh, poor kid." But the one thing we're really certain of is because obviously this is the time of year where obviously everybody's going to be getting gifts because of Christmas. We are very much adamant like he will get a birthday gift and a Christmas gift, and if you can't afford both, then just buy him a birthday gift. At the end of the day, like, Christmas is obviously for everybody. Everybody gets gifts on Christmas Day. On your birthday, only you get presents. So, out of the two, we'd rather someone buy him a birthday present. It's come together rather nicely. I think I'm going to use some more of that Night Quester actually to just quickly paint his satchel on his side. I was a January baby. I understood that it can suck having a birthday so close to the holidays. Nowadays it's fine because I just get what I want for my gifts and thank the holy and the child. Namely a plastic crack. Absolutely. Exactly. You get what you need and get what you want. But it's one of those things where we're going to be aware there's going to be times where everyone's obviously going to be, especially when he's a kid, everyone's going to be excited about Christmas rather than his birthday. Like kids in his class. But at the same time, it's like, I almost want to do this thing where it's like, do you realise how many days it is until your birthday? And kind of give him like a mini countdown for a little something for him to look forward to. Something that's just his. To try and make it as joyful as it can be. We have quite a few babies in our family born around Christmas. So there are quite a few of them. One of them being just 2 days before Christmas. Just going in with some lead belcher now. Just for his scythe in his hand. There we are. Nice silver scythe. And now just to paint his beard and obviously his staff. It's kind of like a blended ombre effect up the staff of colours. So I may have to do some dry brushing on this one, but that'll be fun. It's quite fun. I'm going to go in with a base of Gortha Brown at the bottom of this staff though. You guys, what's the food of choice for Christmas? Is it turkey, or do we tend to go for other joints of meat? And also, a very important question here. If you're like a chocolates at Christmas kind of person, are you like a heroes? Are you a celebrations kind of person? You know, I'm asking the important questions here. Obviously, this is mostly people in the UK. But if you do get chocolates at Christmas, are you roses, celebrations? What do you kind of traditionally go for? This is just some Elysian green now. Eloise sausage. I'm just blending this colour in with the brown, but I will go over with a dry brush and just help incorporate these together a bit better. But you can see they're just starting to be blended together there a little bit. And for Grey Slayer, like for your family, is it obviously quite a large? Is it quite a large feast that needs to be prepared when all of the family get together? Just getting some Nurgling green now. Top of the spiral, we'll get a generous coating of Nurgling green. And I'll use Moot green as a highlight for this over the paler sections. Sorry, I was grabbing food. Everyone apart from my aunt gets kicked out of the kitchen on Xmas Day. We get beef, ham and chicken, all the trimmings, choice of starter and pud. That sounds pretty perfect to me. I think traditionally on Christmas, like when I was growing up, it was always turkey. Then when we moved out, all the boys then pile on after the food coma have settled and tidy up. That sounds fair to me. We've always had like turkey, and then when we first moved into our house, we decided, because it was just me and the mister, we decided to just have some duck. We just picked up like a couple of duck breasts and had some very fancy duck breasts. And then after that, it's been like gammon joints mostly. I am still trying to get the perfect crackling though. That is still very much a work in process. Progress. Words. I think this guy's become my favourite character so far. I love green, it's one of my favourite colours. And obviously I get to use quite a lot of it for this. Just going over and touching up this green now, just before I go on with a shade paint. Just to make sure it's not streaky anywhere. Crackling at Xmas, interesting choice. If I'm going to make some form of pork, because sometimes people will have pork, I have to do some form of pork crackling to go with it. Last year's was okay. We had like a giant pork joint for Christmas. It was a maple pork joint and maple honey pork joint, and I had some good crackling on that one. So I had a little bit on the plate, and then the rest was there. It was quite good. Like the first year was duck, and I was like, I've never cooked a duck in my life. What in the world am I doing? And it went okay. I won't say fantastic, the skin wasn't as crispy as I would have liked, but for my first attempt cooking duck, it tasted good. So that is fine with me. And we literally went shopping for Christmas food last year, I think on the 23rd or 24th. At the moment, we try and go into places and like buy our vegetables kind of ideally like pre-made. Just because it speeds up the process a lot when you're only feeding a couple people. And we bought a bunch earlier on this month, had them in our freezer, and then our fridge freezer broke, and it was tragic because I had to throw out everything. So we've just bought that. Luckily we hadn't bought a joint of meat yet, so thank God. Because otherwise that would have been quite an expensive one to replace. Just going in with a bit of Otham Grey for his beard. Just to give it like an off-white look, because I'm not the biggest fan of just going in with pure white. There we go. Especially a base coat on everything now. And now I can officially start the shading process. But he's looking pretty good. Might just go in with an extra coat of brown on his satchel, actually. And then I'm pretty happy with that. A group of my pals who get together every year in the US for Xmas have different themes due to Thanksgiving being basically at Xmas dinner. This year it's apparently Eastern European. Interesting. When I was at university, we had an American lass who was living over here for study, and we obviously had a Christmas dinner, which was like a cheap one because it was a student Christmas dinner, but we still did crackers, and she had no idea what a cracker was. Christmas cracker, she had no clue, because it's not something they tend to do. So her face when it got explained to her what a Christmas cracker was interesting, to say the least. So what kind of food are they cooking up then? To find some serpent sepia for his robes. To be honest, if you had a theme like Eastern European, I would probably be like, what? Yeah, I would probably go there to the bratwurst and sauerkraut. Mine would probably do the same thing. But it'll probably be their version. It's an Americanized version, so it's going to be along those lines, but, you know, probably not. Probably slightly more tame. Cooliook plays hello, how are you? So I'm just going in with Seraphim Sepia now on his neutral robes, on the neutral parts. Just to dirty them up a little bit. How am I doing today? I'm good, how are you? Doing fine today, fantastic. Good to hear. Have you been up to much today? I was searching for some Warhammer streams and found you, so I'm here now and got to ask, what chapter do you like? What chapter do I like? Good question. Just school, honestly. Well, if you haven't got much longer of that, I imagine, obviously, with the holidays coming up. We're talking chapters in my Space Marines and it's Dark Angels for me. I do love... just been doing lots of stuff regarding Horus Heresy, meant like outside just general study and stuff like that as well at the moment. If we're talking areas. But I'm also new to painting Warhammer. Well, welcome. This was last week's stream, so this probably would have answered your chapter question as well. This is Lionel Johnson, so the Primarch of the Dark Angels. So this was last week's stream. And he is rather fabulous if I do say so myself. So I'm doing the Thousand Suns as my first army. Amazing. What made you pick the Thousand Suns? What was your inspiration there? Because for me, like, when I was going through all my research, like, I had to do so much research to pick a chapter and to pick Dark Angels, but I'm very happy I did now. think I asked the other day, Grace Lay, but I can't remember. What was your first chapter as far as 40k? Well, 30k and 40k. What was first for you? For his lighter robes, I'm going to go in with Croak Green. Amazing, thank you. I love the Thousand Suns Club play the Space Marines 2 game. Very valid reason. How are you finding painting them so far? Yeah, I think Croak Green's the perfect green for the underrobes. So for his outer robes, I'm going with Coelia Green shade. And instead of doing the regular colour, I did them gold and black, and they are quite easy to paint, but except for the eyes are horrific to paint. Craftworld, Bartan, Aldari. I have Dark Angels, Blood Ravens, and some Ultramarines kicking about. They also have a bunch of my homebrewed chapter of Space Bears. I love that. So I'm going with Coelia on the darker sections. I took some Ultramarines and I made them into characters from Sailor Moon. So I have a bunch of Sailor Moon Marines. They're quite fun. That's my silly one where I just did something just for the sake of fun. So for colour, like, are you focusing mostly on 40k at the moment? Or have you got any interest in Age of Sigmar as well? I'm calling my chapter the 1000 Warriors. Very cool. I'm also going to try to make a Blade Champion into one of my 1000 Warriors, and I might try and see about the Age of Sigmar. Got lots of options. There we go. That's him shaded so far. It's going to hit quite nicely. I don't know if go with Croak or Coelia over his staff. What do you guys think I should do? I'm going to go with Nuln Oil over the owl whilst I leave that question to you guys. Should I go in with Croak? Oh, they're throwing it. Should I go in with Croak Green or Coelia for the staff. I've managed to restrain myself from getting into Middle Earth and Horus Heresy, but I have a bunch of different things from everything. My most painted collection is my Nighthaunt. I love my Nighthaunt, so I'm 100% with you on that. And I only have them because I collected the Hatchet Partworks mags. We have a very large collection of Middle Earth stuff. And I do love it. This is the one I was painting, speaking of which, just before this. We went and picked up this set, so this is obviously one of their latest, later releases, which is Helm Hammerhand from the War of the Rohirrim stuff. He's just been base painted. He hasn't got any of his shading or his highlights yet. So when I eventually return to him, that's what we'll be doing on a stream. But he's pretty cool. I do enjoy him a lot. And then a little bit of Nuln Oil on his beard. So with colour, what techniques are you working on in regards to painting at the moment? Are there any particular things you like doing most? Like, do you like doing your shades first? Do you like doing your shades the most? Do you like doing your highlights the most? Do you have a specific area of painting you're liking the most at the moment? And what about you, Greyslayer? What's your favourite part about painting a mini? I think I'm going to go with Croak Green for the staff. Humi, yes. What's your favourite thing colour when it comes to painting? Is it like, do you like doing your shades? Do you like doing your highlights? What's your favourite step? Like for me, I really loved dry brushing when I first started, and I hated highlights. And now I've kind of learned to love highlighting a little bit. Do you have a favourite part so far, or is it just the general process? I do love shading still though, like using shade paints, like I'm doing right now. Just because it brings out hidden details, which is fun. I only do base first, because I can't do highlights or shading. It's absolutely fair, it'll come with time. Shade painting is really, really easy. So if I would recommend a step to try next, I would say shading. Just because it is as simple as using, especially if you use Citadel, because these are essentially a very watery mixture, as you can hear. You just need one of these and a big enough brush that you obviously can control. And you simply brush it over the figure and you let it sink into all the crevices to create shadow and definition. So it kind of gives you the idea of highlights without adding too much. But if you want to do something that does do that, then you could also recommend a contrast paint. So contrast essentially will do everything. They'll base paint, they will shade, and they will highlight all at once. little bit more Nuln Oil for his scythe. Also, my rust paint spilled everywhere like a week ago. Oof. Always painful. Right, I'm going to go on to some highlights. Just because I want to make sure that Nuln Oil is completely dry before I do any dry brushing on that owl. That sounds like an opportunity to acquire more. I think so. I'm going to start with... Actually, no. I'm going to start with Warpstone Glow. Oh, just to highlight some details on this boy. I do love really going in at the moment with really, really vibrant colours for highlights on certain aspects. Just 'cause it adds a bit more fun. A bit like what I did with the Enchantress, where I used blue as my highlight, just to kind of bring out the detail in her hair more. Also, I subbed. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Welcome to the little nerdy family. I'm starting with Warpstone, and I'm going to go back in over certain sections of this with Moot Green, just to further amplify this brightness. Just because I really want them to stand out. I have a question. Sure, go ahead. So I have the Thousand Suns Combat Patrol, and I was wondering what should I add next to my army? That's a toughie, because it's really down to your personal preference. It also depends on budget as well. Like, obviously this is not the cheapest of hobbies in the entire world. Are you looking at still doing more Thousand Suns stuff, or are you looking at a completely different chapter? More Thousand Suns. Okay. Have you thought about potentially looking at getting Magnus the Red? Obviously the lead Primarch. I'm also trying to look to kind of see what kind of stuff is already in the box set. So if you've got certain things, you don't want to be getting too many duplicates, unless that's what you're after. The Tazangors look pretty cool. Are you collecting stuff that looks cool, or do you want to be competitive? Yeah, that is also the question. Yes, and I have as well a Heldrake, both. So obviously if you're looking for stuff that is for competitive purposes, then obviously you need to be focusing as well on points to kind of work out, you know, whether it's 1,000-point army or a 2,000-point army, to make sure that what you're collecting you can actually use in a competitive setting. And the good thing is, the good news about Thousand Suns is pretty much everything looks cool, so it's a bit of a win-win there. Because the Wraith Knight, when I get it, will be collecting. So, on average, for a Warhammer 40k combat patrol, it's around 500 points, but it can range anywhere between 500 to 750 points. So, it's one of those things where if you want to make a 1,000-point army, then it's worth getting either certain apps or looking in the codexes to kind of see what each character is worth point-wise, because then you know how to build that 1,000 points or 2,000 points or whatever it is you want to do, and then once you've got those settled, you can then pick those to collect. Because like I said, basically all the Thousand Suns look really, really cool, but it just depends on what type of, how many points you want your army to be as well, if you're looking at it from a competitive standpoint. Ow. Whacked my knee on the table, it's not the best idea. Just gonna grab some Moot Green now to highlight next. Maybe 1,000 points. Yeah, I would start with 1,000 and work your way up. Do you have any of the codexes for, or do you have the codex for your 1,000 Suns? Do they have a codex, actually? Saying that? So I would recommend, before you buy anything else, I would recommend getting a codex. One, because it will help you with learning how to play. And two, you have all the information that you need in there. So for example, what you will include is an in-depth information about the units, the war gear and more, including choice of play styles for the hordes, and yeah, so I would recommend that before you get any other figures. If you want to do a 1,000-point army, get the codex, kind of look at what you're researching, and go from there. Because in the codex you will find list points for characters and units in the back of the book. So I'd recommend that. From there, build your 1,000-point army. On that you can go on what looks the coolest. Add it all up, get as close to 1,000 points as you can. And then after that, feel free to shop to your heart's content. What point is the Blade Champion? I am not sure. I'd have to do a little bit of research. Is it the Adaptus Custodes Blade Champion? 1 second. Nope, that's not the one I'm after. Did put in 1,000 Suns, but only wants to put up the Adaptus Custodes for some reason. Okay, so he's 110 points as of the latest update. So he's 110. So what I would do is I get the codex, work out how many points your combat patrol is, see how many you've got free. Write down a few pieces that you want to buy, so like your Blade Champion and stuff like that. And then using whatever free points you got, obviously put them towards those characters that you want. until you've got 1,000 points. You can see just around the edges of the lighter green robes, I've gone in with that moot green, and it's just amplified that colour a little bit. And now I'm going to do some more of that moot green on the darker shades too. Combat Patrol is 475 points. Helldrake is 140 points, I think, at the moment, so you're already sitting on 615. Maybe add in Sorcerer for 75, and then some Scarab, Occult, Termes, or a Vortex Beast to take it up to 1k. Excellent. Yeah, I think at the moment this guy's my favourite character. He's very, very fun to paint. I have a sorcerer that comes with the Thousand Suns Combat Patrol. If you have a look on the website, it will tell you exactly what's in there. So you have the Shaman, the Tanzagor Shaman. So you have a Daemon Prince, Tanzagor Shaman, Tanzagor Enlightened, which can alternatively be built by as Tanzagor Enlightened with Fate Caster, Great Bows, and 10 Rubric Marines. That's what you currently have inside your Combat Patrol. So you could absolutely get a Sorcerer. So if you're ever unsure of what exactly you've got in there, in addition to obviously all the booklets and stuff that come with the box, just have a look on the Warhammer website and just look in the description. Everything that is included in that box is in there. Thing is, you can get all the recommended in the world. Recommendations in the world. It depends on what you think is cool and how you play. That will matter the most. Exactly. That's why, like best advice for me is, like I said, just work out how many points you've got spare, and then have fun picking stuff that looks cool that you want to use. And having stuff like the Codex as well will just be really, really helpful when it comes to you learning to play and having all your information. Boocat, good morning, Mrs. Nerdy in chat. How are you? How was your work Christmas do the other day? Is it another beautiful sunny day where you are? I'm essentially going over and highlighting this the same way I did with Lion. In the sense that I'm going in with a really light green to highlight his cape. Just because I really like the way it looks. Okay, my favourites are the Eldred, I can't spell, the Custodians and 1,000 Suns and Blood Ravens. Very good selection. Xmas function was good, didn't overindulge too much, last day at work before summer holidays, and yes, another beautiful day. Sounds fantastic. How long is your day today then, Bocat? Is it a long last day? In a couple of days, we'll be heading up to wine country. Ooh, lovely. Keep joking with Mr. Nerd that this little man needs to come before Christmas so I can have some mulled wine. A little bit more moot green out. Won't be that long. Everyone usually checks out pretty early on the last day. So you can manage, basically, is what we're saying. You can push through. It's coming together quite nicely. Yeah, sent off a couple emails, maybe attend a meeting, and then it's hobby time. How can I get my hands on blood ravens? I would have absolutely no idea, to be honest, at the moment, mate. Mostly just buy basic Space Marines and paint them red. Well, there we go. You can grab transfers on eBay. Well, there we go. Grey Slayer coming in to save the day. Love the colour composition on the staff. Reminds me of Kuru here in New Zealand. Thank you. I'm going to be dry brushing it as well in a minute, just to kind of further blend the colours together. Oh, I think we're about to get a visit from a cat. I have a 13-year-old cat that's just jumped up in front of me and demanding attention. I'm very sorry. Give me a minute. Really? You're going to sit right there? I'm sure this is the content you guys wanted to see. A 13-year-old cat who is normally pretty like independent, and today, oh, there we go, she's had some cuddles, she's done now. She's normally my independent one. She normally doesn't come to me for cuddles when I'm streaming, but so far she's the only one who's interrupted me in the last 2 days for attention. It's quite pleasant for her, but she's 13 and just kind of looked at me like, I don't care what you are doing, you are stopping because I said so. And now she's gone off to play with the 9-month-old kitten. I say play, probably to tell him off or something. But yeah, she was not having any of my painting there. She's like, nope, move it. I'm sitting there. Bless her. Right, I'm going to move on to some dry brushing, I think. This is where this little set I've got comes in handy. Obviously for dry brushing, you can use makeup brushes and stuff like that because they work really, really well. I have a little tiny kit here where I have, move that away for a moment, these 4 brushes. And the brush I'm going to be using is this tiny one to begin with. Super tiny, tiny head, but that's all I need it for because the only thing I'm dry brushing first is the owl on his shoulder. And I'll be dry brushing his staff, which I can use that smaller one for, but I could go off the size if I wanted to as well. Speaking of the 9-month-old kitten, he is now staring at me. I have 4 cats, just to let you guys know, and 2 of them are currently just staring at me. I don't know what their motivation is, they're just staring at the moment. Oh no, the 13-year-old's coming back. I think I'm okay, she hasn't decided to jump up. Sorry about that. Right, let's begin with the owl. Oh goodness. Never mind, I spoke too soon. The 9-month-old has now decided he wants attention too. What's up, buddy? You guys get some very adorable cat feet. They are very sweet. Please don't sit there. You going to move? Listen, internet cats, is why we are here. Well, in that case then, let me just do this, if he'll lie on his back. But he's very, very sweet. Come here, buddy. He's like, nope, I'm not looking at that camera. There we go. His very sweet little face with his ginger eyes. Hey, you are staring directly into the camera right now, aren't you, mate? Hey. You're a good lad. Most of the time. See if I can keep him off the table for a minute or two. Just because his favourite thing in the world, unfortunately, is paintbrushes. So this is kind of like a counterproductive thing here, because he wants to eat my paintbrushes and he's not allowed to. As much as you're very cute, I need my brushes, mate. Anyway. I'm going to go in with some Bugman's Glow for a little bit of a contrast for the initial dry brushing, and I'm going to go a little bit lighter. Right, child beast bath time, back in a bit. Not a problem. I'll see you in a little bit, Grey Slayer. I'm currently about to dry brush, so I'm stippling off, obviously, a little bit of paint off of this before I attach it to, before I attempt to dry brush anything onto the figure. And my cat is just eyeing up this brush. She's like, ooh, that looks edible. Oh dear. Oh goodness. He's kind of like circling. I have finished my Enlightened Rubik Marines. Fantastic. As of tonight, hopefully, we should have a Discord up. So, by tomorrow's stream, we'll have a Discord. So, if you guys want to join that, when it goes live, I'll link it in the description, obviously, once we've got it officially started. If you guys have any photos of your stuff, we can share them in there. I'd love to see some of your guys' work. I'm going to go in with some Steel Legion Drab as well now. It doesn't make a massive difference, but it just kind of gives me a tiny bit of dimension. I'm not allowed Discord. Not to worry, like I said, we do have other socials on there. We have Facebook on there. We have, well, I need to add Facebook, sorry. We have lots of other social medias on there. So if you want to follow us, obviously, you've got lots of options. And obviously, you've got us here, so. I'll be starting my Proxy Skaven Clan Sky army this weekend. This kind of sky, ooh, very fun. What kind of colour scheme are you going for? I'm just going to go in with each of the colours that I used for the staff and just use those and this small brush to kind of blend the colours together just to make sure that's nice and smooth. And then I'll go back in with some highlight on that staff just because it needs a little bit of dimension to make it pop. I'm going to go in with first Elysian green. I do love dry brushing on stuff like this just to kind of help blend layers together. And then next colour is Nurgling green. I want to do some high contrast stuff. I was looking at the book of Skiven Heraldry for Inspo. The high contrast stuff is really, really cool. Really, really cool. Someone who's really, really good when it comes to contrast as well to follow, if you don't already, he was in the stream the other week, is Warhipster. He does amazing contrast stuff. So, if you don't already follow him, he's awesome for contrast paints. Ooh, okay, thanks for the recommendation. He is really, really good. He was in here the other day and was in his stream last night, and he does really, really awesome stuff. I think I'm going to go in and dry brush some bright green over the spiral, just in a very, very light amount. But I think I'm going to use some Warpstone Glow for that, just to kind of make his staff look a bit more magical. Do you have any Thousand Suns Combat Patrol? I don't, personally. The only Combat Patrol I have... I don't. The only thing I have is Dark Angels. And a few Space Marine, Ultramarines. I see, okie dokie. No worries though, mate. Just incorporate that a little bit into the staff, just to kind of help it catch in certain spots. And now I'm just going to gently do the same with that same Warpstone Glow over his cape. Just he's got some areas that I haven't highlighted more specifically with the lighter shade just to kind of bring them out a little bit. There we go. That's that brush cleaned off now. Righty ho. So do some highlights on his skin, I think. This guy's done, and then we can move on to the last figure. I did say tonight's stream would probably be slightly longer just to account for the fact we've only got 2 figures to paint, but both the figures are really quite detailed. So I was going to do a subtle bit of highlighting on his skin, and then I will call Jacobus Vine as done and move on to the Forest Prince, aka the Centaur, aka I think he's called Kellenorth? Kelthanor. So move on to Kelthanor next. And then that will officially be all of our heroes done. So just mix a tiny bit of white skull, sorry, with some Kislev flesh. Just to create a slightly lighter highlight colour for his face. But it's mostly going to be on his hands, to be honest, because you can't really see his face too much underneath his hood. So I'm just going to dust a little bit over his toes, his hands, and then a tiny dot on his nose. We'll season that skin tone just to quickly highlight any of the brown elements. So I'm just highlighting the side of his satchel. The cat decidedly wants to try and chew something. Put a little bit on the owl. Do you think the Blade Champion could be added to my Thousand Suns army? I think so. Like, point-wise, you do have certain points expendable. So, I think, like we were saying earlier, like, if you do get the Codex, kind of look, see what you're after. What kind of idea you want. And then using those points, I'm sure you'll have plenty spare to get him. There we go. And that is Jacobus Vine finished. Oh my goodness. Sorry, my cat has decided to throw my water everywhere. With this one moment. Bear with me one moment just while I try and dry as much of this up as possible, because obviously I have a lot of electrics here and I don't want any of it to get damaged. Okay, that is most of the water dried up. So give me one moment just whilst I grab some more kitchen roll because he spilt it all over my paper whilst I was doing that. And I'll be back in just a second. Thank you for tuning in, Boket. I appreciate it. See you next time. So sorry about that. I believe my electrics are now officially safe. I don't know why he suddenly just decided to throw my water everywhere. But that's cats for you. As much as he's adorable, he is a bit of a pain sometimes, and that is a time when he was being a pain. Especially because he's done it and then wandered off to go eat. So he just made a big old mess for basically no reason. Right, as I was saying, we can finally move on to our last character now. Which is the Forest Prince. Which is called again Calthanor. Yeah. For this one I'm going to begin with the skin. So I'm going to go in with Cadian Flesh Tone. And actually a little bit of Rakarth flesh, because he's supposed to be human-ish, half human, but not quite. So having his flesh be a little bit more cool toned for me would help with that. I just put that down and I can't find it. Cadian Flesh Tone, right in front of me. Yeah, that cat that is just knocked or technically thrown water is now drying off his feet because his feet got wet. Which he's not particularly happy about. On this figure, because there's lots of areas that are going to be quite hard to reach, I'm almost trying to do the hard to reach areas first. Because his base is a bit big, I don't have a stand big enough to hold him, so I'm just going to have to hold him in my hand. I'm being quite messy with skin tone here because, like I said, otherwise this is going to be really hard to get to. But once I go in with my other paints, that's going to cover up any of the mess I've made. Because Kelthanor is the biggest of the heroes. Now I'm going to go on to the complete opposite and do his centaur legs, which I'm using Abaddon Black for. Cat that just minutes ago threw water all over my table has just come back, so I've just quickly moved my water again, just to hopefully prevent him from doing it again. Are you choosing violence today, Cat? He's 9 months old, so he is a kitten, so I get that. But in the same breath, he's being a little bit naughty today. So I'm just trying to do a little bit of damage control and get him away from stuff. Quick question. What would you pick for the eyes for the gold or metallic ruby marines on champion? Red would look quite cool. I would personally go with red. Red's always a really good eye colour. I would go with corn red if you have it, like a darker red. Paint the eyes white, then paint over them with Flesh Terror Red contrast. That's a good idea, if you have that one. Yeah, it's basically the contrast equivalent to Corn Red. Corn Red is this one, right here. It's a base colour. It's just called Corn Red. Just quite a dark red. If you have something like that, that would be good. You basically, in addition, whilst you were bathing your little one, I almost had everything on my stream flooded. Grey Slayer, because my cat decided to throw my water dish everywhere. So that was fun, having to quickly run off and clean that. It's the superior red, 100%. This cat that's knocked everything everywhere keeps trying to jump on my table now. He's just choosing violence today. Very much. Oh no. Oh yeah, he just literally stood there and just went, this won't do, and just threw my water everywhere. And the worst part is he's not normally that bad. He just sat there, he was literally almost falling asleep, and then the next second he just went, no. And decided to just throw half a pot of water everywhere. I was like, oh dear. And I have a lot of electronics on this desk, obviously, because I'm streaming. So it was very urgent that I quickly got up and fixed that. Might have just been reminding that you needed to change the paint water. Yeah, I mean, that's one way to do it. Just go, you don't need this paint water anymore, and just throw it all over my desk. I'm sure when I finish the stream, I'll still find little puddles of water on the table and I'll have to clean it up afterwards. But I got a majority of it and I got it away from the electrics, so that's the important part. To be honest, my water wasn't that close to my electrics, but I could just slowly see it sinking, like, dripping towards it. I was like, nope. Before that gets out of hand. The worst part is, as soon as he did it, he literally decided, right, I've had enough now, and went and ate food. So yeah, I'm bored now. It's a typical cat behaviour, I guess. Like, he's adorable, I love him, but he can be a pain in the backside at times. I'm not really good with the eyes because my hands are a little too shaky to try it. Eyes are something you can build up to. Don't feel like you have to rush to do them. Eyes are quite hard anyway. I tried with ultramarines I use for colour matches. That's the thing, like, if you just practice on something else that you don't mind messing up on a few times, and then once you're confident in the skill, try it then. But for now, the eyes aren't particularly important. As far as eyes go, especially in my Middle-earth stuff, oh my goodness, some of the eyes on those are questionable. Tips for eyes. Brace your wrist on the desk to minimize shaking. Paint them first so that you can cover up mistakes with everything around it. Very good idea. It's kind of why I went in and did the skin first on this, because it made it be really messy. So I went in and did the skin first so I could then clean up the mess around it. The cat really is choosing violence today. What are you doing? He's being a menace, unfortunately, and choosing to just cause absolute carnage up to everything I'm touching at the moment. Every time I look up, the cat is just in something he shouldn't be, so I'm having to quickly divert every now and then. I really need to stop wiping my brushes on my trousers. Yes, I would strongly advise that, because you'll probably find that it won't come out very easily. Wait until you get into the habit of licking your brushes to keep them, to keep the point. That's when you know you've made it. I've done that a few times. Does the paint taste good or something? No. It's just every now and then you'll just try and get your brush to obviously maintain at a point. You'll kind of naturally put it in your mouth to kind of like try and get it as straight as possible. The paint does not taste good. I strongly advise against that. Right, moving on to his robes. I'm going to use Caliban Green for those. Just throw my paintbrush at myself. The model looks like it's originally wearing like a slightly less vibrant green than this, but I do love this colour, so I'm going to use this one. I've done that before, aka at school my mate chucked a paintbrush with the same black paint at me, and guess where it got me at? Lol, not particularly. It's just a quick effective way to get the point on the brush after you've cleaned it before you go to the next colour. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna ever sit here and recommend licking paintbrushes / eating paint. It's not exactly something I'd recommend to anybody. I know it's not it's non-toxic, but still. We don't eat paint. As adults, we can make our own decision. You really love this green. I literally said to myself I was going to paint one model today. And have you painted it? Caliban, indeed, it is Caliban green. It gets to the point, doesn't it, Grace? Where it's like you literally could look at something and go, I know what colour that is just by looking at it. It's a little bit sad, but yeah, you and I are both at that point already. I painted 4 already. Well, then you've done your bit that you said you were going to do. That's awesome. Well done. Very nice work. You've been an overachiever today. A nice thin brush to get in here. Tomorrow you must do 5. I did 10 more, and you're not wrong, though there are some that are pretty close where I have to second guess sometimes. Oh yeah, definitely. And then you actually question it and you go, why did I even second guess that? Just double checking exactly where I need to paint the rest of this bit green. My son's just decided to give me a nice strong kick there as I was about to put paintbrush to figure. Very helpful, mate. Thank you very much. Though I do describe things in my OH in a Citadel colours sometimes. Oh, that thing was clearly a shade of Xandri dust. Oh yeah, definitely. I've done that so many times. By the way, the Elder Good People, I don't think there is a good faction in 40k in the lore. Again, same thing. There aren't really anything good. They have like good moments, but none necessarily that are distinctively good. Even look at Sanguinius is a lot for that. Even the boys under Space Jesus were not completely good. Taz, Empire, why does everyone hate it? That's not who you ask, I think. Yeah, everyone obviously has their own opinion on it, but also some people jump on the bandwagon of things and they just hate things because everyone else hates it. So I say make your own decisions. Do your own research and then make your decision off that. So the Eldari are the remnants of a dying civilization that are responsible for birthing Sinesh. They can be swift and brutal with those they believe need it, and defense in defense of their maiden worlds. Yeah. It also depends on which flavour of the Eldari you're looking at. There are the Craft World Space Clowns and Dark Eldari, which are definitely evil. Oh yeah, there's some that are like definitive, you know what they are immediately. You're like, yep, I can confirm. Spot on, that is an evil guy. This little section here I purposely didn't paint because I wasn't sure whether or not it was his hide or whether or not it was cape. There we go. This arrow quiver is very, very cool. It's just a sword sheath. Speaking of that, I'm going to paint that using Doombull Brown. The The Dire Avengers are part of the Craftworld group. Though if you want to play followers of, Death God, you can mix and match all three kinds. What about the wreath ones? The way Eldari mindset works is that they all follow a particular path based on where their focus lies. The Dire Avenger Shrine focuses on shrunken weapon mastery. Specifically applying this card to any parts that look like it's got woven leather. Wraith constructs come in a few flavours: Guard, Lord, and Knights, which get progressively bigger. They are powered by Soulstone, which contains a dead Eldari soul within, essentially risen soldiers. Tower get a bad rep, mostly because when they first came out, they had a bunch of very cheesy strats, which means their gun lines were OP. They haven't really shrugged that off. My husband refers to them as the space communists, but he's playing Tau. He has Tau. He loves these. It was the first one he played as a kid, and when it came to picking them again as an adult, he went back to Tau. But that was also amplified because we got the Dead Silence kill team, which obviously is Tau and Space Wolves. So because of that, we kind of went down that path. I'm gonna go back in with Caliban and just do a second coat of that. Over the areas that need it specifically. What about the other factions? Wait a minute, my cat's chirping at me. Everything's a lot more balanced now, I would say. I agree. But you know, it's like sometimes you've put a stigma on something, it can take a while to shrug it off, if at all. I'm having a stare down with a 9-month-old cat that's sticking his tongue out at me. Because he looks like he's plotting something. Right. I'm going to go in with some cachan flesh for the rope elements, and then I'll move on to metallics and hair. Also going to touch up a couple spots of black. You are fair blasting through this box, thank you. Tomorrow during the day the plan is to obviously build some of the... Ow, why are you doing that, cat? My cat's trying to crawl down my leg for some reason. I'm literally sat on a bench. Something that he could easily jump down onto, but no, he insists on jumping down my leg. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, tomorrow I'm going to be building just a select few of the bad guys. And then once I've done that, I will obviously paint what I build tomorrow. And just gradually build through it that way. There we go. And what is my biggest problem being 1,000 suns? Aside from the fact they're of course a traitor legion, but... Cat, what are you doing? Because I'm normally wrapped up with stream by now, I think he's getting impatient and just wants attention. So he's just trying to sit in my lap. I think they have a heavy reliance on psychers to be effective, and their range isn't that great in gameplay terms. They are on my to-do list for next year because I think they look amazing. They do. They look incredible. this is what I'm having to contend with at the moment. Just a very needy, squirmy 9-month-old kitten that wants to just not listen to me. Thank you. Yeah, he's just getting really impatient. I think he's like, Mum, hurry up. We've normally had cuddles on the sofa by now. I think they're incredibly lovely to look at. He's currently trying to eat my paintbrushes and my paintbrush caps, to be exact. You're not normally this misbehaved, mister. I'm very surprised. I'm to move things out of his reach because he is determined. Right. Almost done the Blade Champion into. Very nice. I'm going to go in with Jehenna's Gold. I haven't actually used this one. I've been wanting to, I just haven't used it. So... I can use that for his metallics. Just because I want this to be more true, normally I'd do like a layer of paint underneath before I go in with a layer of paint. But I'd rather go in with a few extra layers. What is that bright lime I'm seeing? That is moot green. It's amazing. I love it. May has to wrap up my stream a little bit early today and finish this guy off tomorrow because my cat is completely losing his mind at this point and I'm scared he's gonna cause some damage. How long is the stream so far? How long have we been streaming for? I haven't actually checked. Almost 3 hours. So we have been streaming for quite a while, so I think, because this guy, I don't think he's going to get finished tonight to the standard that I'd be happy with. I'd rather come back tomorrow, finish him off to the standard that I'm happy with, finish his base paints, do his shading, do his highlighting, and then maybe pick a few of these smaller enemies just to make the whole stream like the length I want it to. So I'm going to leave it there for tonight, guys. So thank you very much for watching. Cat, please don't stand on my laptop. Sorry, Arch, we're actually just about to end the stream. Very, very sad. Big sad. But how are you? Thank you for the stream. Likely won't be around tomorrow, slash over the weekend. Have last D&D stream of the year tomorrow night, then travelling. Of course, I understand, Grey Slayer Minis. I hope you have a wonderful travel time, and hopefully your little one doesn't get too sick when you're on your journey travelling around for Christmas. But yeah, I think what we're going to do is we're going to finish off the Forest Prince tomorrow, just because he is quite large still. Sore feet, Xmas shopping. I don't blame you. Just because I'd rather not rush him. I'd rather do a good job. I don't want to, you know, do anything rough. I want to get it all done nicely. And my cat is just choosing to cause chaos at this point. So I think he just needs me to focus on him for a little bit. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in for the stream tonight. I apologise for our interruptions caused by my cat. But hopefully I can see a bunch of you around tomorrow to finish off Kellenorth and to start our enemies. So yeah, I'll catch you tomorrow, Arch. Obviously feel free to stay and watch the stream back, because then you can obviously watch how we painted the lovely Jacobus vine. But yeah, have a lovely evening, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.